Hello. So, this is going to be a very raw, unfiltered, totally spirited, and impromptu, what I'm calling a bold announcement about two very big goals that I have, two very big endeavors that are one has been with me and started to really make itself known to me starting in 2017. And what I mean by that is like the name and how it's evolved. And you might already know a little bit about it, but it has expanded and slightly morphed. And the other is something that's been building within and within my communities, of which I share on social media since I would say I don't know, I'd have to go back and look, but definitely starting last year, maybe mid year. And I I I do not have a script. I did not even create a scaffolding for this video. I had an awareness and a download, and really this is me activating this opportunity of making a declaration, and what I know is a very powerful thing to do when we make a declaration and when we make it public. I also know there's some pretty amazing astrology going on right now. Today is Wednesday, June 10th, and it is a powerful time to basically announce, launch, share, activate, and in relationship to community, to connection. And both of these goals are very much that. So, my intention is to be clear and enthusiastic and, like I said a moment ago, unfiltered, and just really share my excitement and my joy and really what I'm hoping that you receive from this is first, just thank you for witnessing and for taking the time to watch or listen to this. But also, this is an invitation to you for the same. Well, it's an invitation for you to participate and if this calls to you, but it's also an invitation for you to do something like this for yourself on any scale at any time. It doesn't have to be right now during this awesome astrology, but this is not something that I normally do for myself. I spent so many years doing amazing work inside organizations or with leaders, being like the wind beneath the wing, taking the vision and making it grand, and having these like secret babies here, thinking, knowing someday I would do it, right? And all, some of them have been percolating for a long time, and I've had many false starts and then some. And the last almost 3 years, I have been in the entrepreneurial journey in the online space that has been teaching me on every level. It has also been an adventure. It has also been an education in all things digital marketing. And with AI coming on the scene, it just took that to a whole new level. I'm sure you know exactly what I mean, or you know what I'm talking about because you are alive right now, too. Before I just get into it, let me just say that what is inspiring me to share this right now is to like basically stop fucking around, to like stop holding back, to stop waiting, to move beyond the constant creator and strategizing and perfecting. And I don't even think of it that way because it's just so part of my modus operandi to like, and the way the world has worked and all the stuff that has co-created this way that I know I'm not alone. I know there are a lot of powerful, high achieving, high producing women, especially over 40 and 50, who have like, like how many versions before you actually share it. So, what's also connected to this is that we are all living in a world that has really predetermined, has set out these paths of what life is supposed to look like, of what success looks like, of what is I don't know, how would I say it? Like, what is a smart choice? What is a smart path? What is reasonable? What is practical? What is more likely going to give you safety and security? And I have absolutely chosen into that for so many reasons. I just didn't have any other models. I did not have a very ambitious mom, but my mom was all about like taking care of business, right? So she was never not going to have a job, and she ended up creating a career that really served her in that practical endeavor, but it definitely did not support her in her artistry, which she truly should have been or could have been an interior architect and designer. My father is a musician and was a musician, and he spent a good almost 15, 20 years in a very successful expression of that. And then that completed, and he continued to do music, but I wasn't around him. But I do see the creator and the artistry and the dreamer in me that I definitely received from him. And so, my point in sharing all that is just that I am now 54 years old, and I have been waiting and having to do all the things because there's no benefactor, there's no partner, there's no yet seed money or all those things. None of that's yet. And what if there's one thing I've learned that's been like kind of glaring at me over the last couple of years now that I stepped into the entrepreneurial journey and this space of online is that it's it's all going to come through action, and it's all going to come through bold action. And if we, in this case me, keep waiting for the right time or all the stuff, the really the practical route, it's not necessarily likely going to happen. And that's been my experience so far. So here's what I'm sharing. Thank you for being here with me. And I hope that there's some things in here that you're relating to. The two bold goals, basically missions. One for sure is a mission on my life that I want to make public and share and invite collaborators or those who have interests, or perhaps you have similar work and there's an opportunity for some just even dialogue around our shared endeavors, or you're just interested in this journey that I'm on, and there'll be ways for you to participate. The first one is heal your part. Yes, and I don't mean the podcast. The podcast is one of the arms of Heal Your Part. And I just realized recently that I have been trying to package. First of all, it took me so long to even just bring the name of the podcast to Heal Your Part because of the way the world has metabolized healing and the way that many of us are very fearful of our healing. And that could be a series that I could get into. So I'm going to be very mindful not to go down that path right now. But those stigmas, those it be having a propensity to create discomfort, to not be as mainstream as we'd like to think, or as I believe it really should, it has held me back from owning it. And here's the thing, Heal Your Part is a movement. It is a movement that I was literally sent to bring. And it started with me in high school. It started making itself known to me. I didn't have the name. I didn't even know it was going to be this. But my focus and call and interest in human behavior and the psychosocial dynamic of individuals, and then how that ripples out into every environment that we are a part of, which then impacts not just the organization, how it's expressed, but it becomes like this incubator that we are all then living in all the time. So the health or lack of health of that is impacting the lives of humans every day. And then we're in those groups all over the world, all over our lives. And then that impacts how we behave, how we feel, what we believe about ourselves, and then it impacts how we parent and how we lead and how we guide people. And it's such a powerful entity, this our ability to understand and know ourselves, and it not just being about emotional intelligence and self-awareness, although you can rest assured I very much believe and support those. And those have been part of the dialogue, but in my experience, they haven't really shifted anything dramatically. It's always up to an individual to really take the time. And because it's not part of our culture, it's not like regular, like brushing your teeth, like we do with so many other things and how we take care of our finances or our car. We're not doing that in the mental emotional. And if it was, this wouldn't even need to be a movement. And so how I envision this showing up is, first of all, it's a movement of me bringing this forward, of not holding back anymore, of not trying to serve it up in a way. I mean, I come at this with a lot of joy and enthusiasm and excitement and belief in you and me and what we're capable of. I actually think healing has a bad rap. Yes, it's scary to face some of those feelings that we haven't before because of everything I've kind of already said, and they're not bigger than us. We have such an opportunity to reorientate ourselves and to recognize that there's so many different ways to heal. It does not have to always be this like go to a 30-day camp and like rewrite your entire life and do all this inner child work, although I'm not opposed to any of that. There's just so many ways, and I feel like all of that has been moving and coming through me now, especially over the last couple of years, and it was only coming forward to the degree that I gave myself permission to just really feel and say what is true for me. Because what happens when we do that, when we start to say what's true for us, it's like we're sounding a note, right? It's like those the sound bath when you touch that bowl with the mallet, it sounds a note and it draws to you. And that's what happens. Every time I took a big step, every time I got more courageous and shared a little bit more, or I was open, something would come literally like directly to me. And so I don't even know exactly the moment, but it's been building. It started earlier this year where I had a download that the book that I've written, The Beauty of Our Soul, that's sitting in this beautiful book proposal waiting because I really want a deal. I want a book deal. I'm open to self-publishing a book, but this is not the book I want to self-publish. And then I realized that Heal Your Part is really a manifesto, which I'm now sharing with you as a movement, but there's a manifesto that my book became like an extrapolation of. My book is almost like the practical application of this manifesto. So that's here waiting to be written. And it is really just about giving context, it's like, I don't know, I don't have the metaphor clear right now, but I'm thinking about how like David carved the stone and it came. It's like Heal Your Part is a movement. It's a call. And it can come in so many ways. It's limitless. And my job is to lead it. My job is to speak it. My job is to bring it everywhere I can to anyone who's open and interested to have the conversation. I am not here to preach. I am not an evangelizer. I mean, I could see myself being a little bit of an evangelizer around this, but that's not what I feel like my role is. My role is to take the bold action. My role is to take the aligned steps. My role is to listen for the pings and the invitations and the information and the serendipitous moments that come about when you make something known. And I know I've said a lot, but I haven't fully said what it is. And so I'm probably not going to get too deep into that. But essentially, Heal Your Part is the opportunity that when we do healing, and there's all ways to do that, always, healing can literally be as powerful and as what we might think as small as apologizing for something that we know we could have done differently, and not only make amends, but alleviate ourselves of the stuff that's like holding space inside of us because we're not facing that. It could also be about becoming more aware of the healing that's happening all over the world, of the good deeds, of the good restorative efforts and endeavors that are having. Healing could be as big as an organization shifting the way that they do something or treat a group. It's about, I mean, you name it, it's limitless. So it's about bringing this awareness and this like campaign of this movement of heal your part, of healing your part, and knowing that when every time you heal something, you are raising your vibration, and you are raising the collective vibration, and everyone and anyone near you or around you or in your orbit, I guess it's the same thing, they receive part of that upliftment. We are all connected and we are all energetic beings, and hence that's why it works that way. This is not me making anything up. This is like scientifically proven. Thank you, Dr. Larry Dorsey. Is it Larry Dorsey? The book, Power versus Force. That's one of them. Very, very powerful. So this is what I want to share. I am moving forward. You can't really see it. I started creating hats. This says heal your part. I love the black on black, but it's really, I want these to be bigger. So I'm working on that, and there'll be others, but it is. And I'm not quite sure how this will all work, like how this will formulate. But for me, it is really like, it is really my company. It is my mission. It is what will be the overarching of my advisory, of the work I do in organizations, of the work I do one-on-one with individuals, and essentially of a community that will have a nonprofit arm. That there's so much there. I don't even fully have it fleshed out, but it was important for me to share it. And I would offer that the way that you could become involved, and I will start to put something together to invite people in, is to share an interest. If this is something that resonates for you, if this is something that speaks to you, or you know somebody that this speaks to, that's enough to know that this is perhaps a mission and a movement that you want to be a part of. If you are somebody that's on a healing journey, that's on a personal growth, that's on a spiritual journey, any of those things, it's all part of heal your part. So there's so much there. There's education, there's relationships, there's love, there's organizational growth and health, you name it. Okay, that's it. The second one, which I won't spend as much time talking about, is the real wealth room. Real wealth is an ethos. Real wealth is the awareness that it's what I call real wealth, is this awareness of our own sovereignty, of our own choice, of that we have agency. It's focusing in on the reality that that is actually available all the time. And even though we live in a world where so much is out of our control, when we start to become aware of our own inner agency, of our own inner freedom, we start to then design and create and build a life that is coming through that energy. And it does include wealth, financial wealth. It includes relationship wealth. It includes personal and professional wealth. It includes how we have radiant health. It's all those things as I describe it as an ethos. And it's something that I've been talking about for a while. I held a 7-week immersion at the beginning of this year as a first experience of an immersive experience for women on a way that we could begin a new year without it being like the push, but really starting to connect from the inside out. It was one step in that direction, but the Real Wealth Room really is a community. It's a community that I'm going to be kicking off very soon, and it will live in different ways. And what I mean by that is that it will be a group that will probably start online, and my greatest intention is to create in-person experiences. I can't commit to anything at this moment, but in my mind, my ideal scene, there's something happening, if not monthly, quarterly. Just depends on how that could work and the engagement. But the intention is for it to be a space for women, women that want to get serious about their own inner wealth, about their real wealth. And that will include their finances. It will include things like end of life plan. I just had a mom pass away who did a lot of the things, but then became a homeowner again and didn't have a living trust. And that put so much pressure on my brother and I when you're grieving. And then there's debt. I am somebody who's financially solvent, and so many individuals, not that debt is a bad negative thing, but there is opportunity to become in more right relationship with our finances. You might have a goal you want to declare. You might want to make more money. And what I'm also going to make as a key component, which I've already kind of described as I describe what real wealth is, as I'm defining it, we will talk about that inner growth from the inside out. That when you want to create something that is beyond what you have right now, it will require you to grow on the inside. You cannot create, hold, sustain, and multiply anything that you don't have right now before you grow within. That's why people that win the lotto don't tend to hold on to that money, because they're not prepared for that. It's not about just checks and balances in a spreadsheet. It's about having the inner awareness, the inner operating system that can hold the power of that kind of whatever it is for you. So there will be relationship, there will be leadership, there will be healing. Obviously, it'll fit right under my heal your part. But I've been deeply inspired. This has been something, having a community has been present for me for a while. And there have been some other iterations that started for me and with me back in 2008 when I was living in New York and I was first starting to think about doing my own thing, but I did not have the courage. I didn't have just enough confidence in so many ways to be able to do that. But there's something called This Girl, That Girl that came through me in 2011 that's still back there. It probably will be like a nonprofit arm, but this Real Wealth Room has just been percolating. And I just recently attended a couple of events last week, and there's so much opportunity. There are sponsors out there. I believe it's the path for me to actually get some funding. And I want to create a space for women to become more, not just educated, but more empowered with money, with not just making money in all the ways that we can help each other and connect each other. And there's just so much there. There's a groundswell and way that we can galvanize energy for and with each other. But like I said, if you want to create something that you've never created, it's going to require you to be different. It's going to require you to show up in a way that you haven't before. And so it's about learning how to hold that kind, learning how to face your money story or your worthiness challenges. So I know this is not a brand new dialogue because I think so many of these things we've heard before, but knowing something intellectually and owning it is two totally different things. And that's also where the healing comes in. So I know I'm not being too specific, but I'm just putting out there. I'm trying to let that go. I'm trying to relax the part of me that wants to make it all clear for you, because I do feel like sometimes that's the feedback I've gotten in the past with certain things. And then we just like suck the creativity and the life out of it. It's being revealed to me. My agenda is to lead. My agenda is to stand forward in what my gifts are. And creating community is a zone of genius for me. Leadership is something I'm like more comfortable with and in than most people. And it's something I can appreciate, always wanting to grow, always wanting to learn. But it is been a very big piece of my life and my evolution. Wealth and wealth creation is super important to me. I've had my own challenges and I feel really proud of what I've been able to create without a lot of support, without much modeling. And there's so much room there. And I also am somebody who hasn't created an end of life plan. And I'm like, this has to happen. I don't have any heirs, I don't have children. And so I think I've let that be part of the story as to there not being an urgency, but there is no excuse for that. And I'm not beating myself up, but it's something I want to land because there's something really powerful that happens inside when we do these things and we take care of ourselves in this life that we get to live. So there are financial podcasts. There are so many women that I met last week that I spoke to and I also listened to that got me so excited about what's available in the Real Wealth Room. So it will be a membership. It will have monthly programming, it will have events, it will be a place of connection. And I need to clarify a bit more, but I will say there's a woman on LinkedIn that recently put together and is still expanding this really powerful, powerful group for Black women. And gosh, those women inspire me so much and they show up for each other. And we have some healing to do, women. And under the umbrella of real wealth, there's so much power and beauty and expansion. And I'm just all about helping you know how powerful you are and that your life is not about all the roles that you're playing. There's nothing wrong with them. They make us who we are. They give us they till the soil and they give us part of how we know ourselves. And chances are you have not yet fully stepped into your greatest expression. And that's not because you've done anything wrong. It's because we were all born into a world that really hasn't valued and supported and respected women. And we're carrying a lot of jobs that keep us very busy and very tired. So, heal your part, movement, it's coming. And I'm so excited. My intention is wherever this podcast episode is hanging, there's going to be information on how you can get involved or how you could stay in touch about it. And Real Wealth Room. I hope I have something available, even if it's just a sign up, getting on the wait list. But I'll share with you. This is also a hat that I created because you know what they say. I hope this is probably going to be backwards, but what they say is that hats are your best business cards. And I love it. More to come. Thank you so much for listening. I am not going to edit this because I will take stuff out. I know I will. And I'm just not going to let that happen. I'm going to trust this. I'm going to trust myself. I'm going to trust that this finds whoever is meant to receive, who's ready, and who wants to be a part of something. Because I want you to know that this is me stepping into that has been calling on me and evolving with me and through me, as I mentioned already, for a long time. And it is intended to be of service. I am here to connect and uplift all of us. And my commitment is to women. Thank you for listening. I appreciate you so much. Until next time.